Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid, and I am joined by Maryland.
Hello, everyone.
And I don't know what to call this episode, but I have a feeling it will have something to do with the Pangaean essay we're about to receive.
Well, do you want to summarize where we think we're at?
Why don't you do that for us?
Okay, well, last episode we saw a lot of raiding, a lot of counter raiding, but nothing really definitive in terms of a shift in leadership. Vanheim is distinctly in the lead right now. Pangaea has had what comes across as a number of errors or stumbles or maybe missteps. And I would expect the potential that Pan can do some serious comeback. But this does give Vanheim an excellent position. And almost everybody else is caught up in various forms of wars of attrition, with one exception, and to me that's Pelagia. Pelagia has complete freedom of action to do more or less anything he wants.
But Pelagia has also mostly been pushed back into their little pond. So
they have. Yeah.
But not after suffering any great loss.
No, and we saw the crack in his back. It got called. So that opens up some action.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's the summation.
Okay. So I want to see, and I can hear the Discord in the background. I want to see what Pangaea has to say.
I don't know why that's coming across, but that should have been all it was. It was just a turn message.
Okay. All right. So it's been a minute since I've done a proper explanation for what I'm doing. So I'm going to take some time to go over my perception of the game state over these past couple of turns, starting with turn 37. Grab your Dr. Pepper, or if you're Nicknight, grab a refreshing beverage of your choice and sit tight, because this is going to be a long one. Seriously, it's like 5 pages in my Google Docs. But if you've been listening to me gab about Dominions, you might even enjoy it. Unfortunately, Dominions has a low limit on how many messages you can send, so I can't divide them into paragraphs as I wanted. So I'll just have ideas starting in one message that continue to another, such as how we suffer for the sake of art.
Okay.
And one thing, I have asked these guys at the beginning of the game to not do long messages like this.
Right.
I've said, try to keep it short, but I'm, super curious what's going on. So, in this case, we will oblige, at least as long as we can, until my voice goes hoarse.
Yeah, I could read for you if you need a break. But we've been sitting here trying to interpret what's going on diplomatically and everything with Pangaea for quite a while, so this is important.
Yeah. Okay, so the decision to invade Ind actually happened before the Alpha Strike, of course. And it was motivated heavily by the fact that I needed to kill Ind to actually win. At the time, I was feeling on top of the world and looking at what I'd need to do in order to actually close out the game. I had 4 thrones and access to the Throne of Death on Pelagia's border, so I was looking to where I could get 3 more. If I were to kill Ind and go sidelong through Xibalba Ashdod to grab the individual provinces, I could get up to 5 to 3 in Ind's territory. I don't know exactly.
I think he's saying he could get up to 5, 3 of them in Ind.
Okay, right. 3 in Ind's territory, the 1 on Vanheim and Ashdod's border, which would be nigh impossible to defend, 1 from Xibalba in their war zone with Uruk, and 1 Indy Springhawk throne along Ashdod and Xibalba's border. He's also lost, I think, a few White Centaur, which probably has put a hamper on his ability to throne rush.
And this makes sense that I think we had said about 3-4 turns ago that it looks like Pan's trying a serious rush.
Right. To get any other thrones would require completely killing a nation for only 1, or going... Okay, to get any thrones would require completely killing a nation for only 1, or going through 2+ nations. Okay.
Okay. So he had gone and looked at the map, looked at
the
movement possibilities, and defined that these were the 3 thrones that were the best targets for him.
And to win, you need 8. And at the time, I think he had 4. So he needed to find 4 more.
That's what he said
in
that message.
So, yeah. Okay. Oh, I could get up to 5. So he was saying I could get maybe 9, 3 in Ind's territory. Okay, I'm following.
Yeah.
All right. As a result, I wasn't properly rushing, as in going straight for just the thrones, but But to go from a dominant position to actually closing the game out, I'd want to kill Ind sooner or later. So even while I was finishing off my piece of Uruk, I was starting to get set up to fight Ind by sneaking a few thugs in, intentionally bumping him while pretending to vulture Agartha's northern border.
We saw that. I remember us figuring that's exactly what he was doing.
Once I took the Throne of Knowledge, a game-appropriate benefit in the form of graphs, which showed me that Ind was actually very behind in research from my scouting. I also saw that he wasn't blood hunting that heavily from both my scouting and from his invasion of Agartha. I saw that he was just using a fair number of cannibals and leaning on low-level buffs and smite. This meant he was very weak compared to how strong Ind should be at this phase in the game. If he could throw 200 imps at me with +4 strength, he could really do a number on my army, but he's not. It was past turn 35, and he was still leaning on smite. Smite will often be wasted on Howl Wolves, which will need to beat 19 MR to even damage my Sacreds with anti-magic up.
Right.
And cannibals themselves just aren't that threatening. And that leaves it down to his Sacreds with fewer buffs than mine, fighting weapons of sharpness plus all the fixing white centaur. Ooh, that's scary. And if it comes down to buffed troops versus buffed troops, Pan just wins in that case. And I have more better buffs on my side and better peripheral support thanks to Howl and Maws.
Yeah. Okay. Very solid.
In other words, his poor research, lack of focus on the mages that makes Ind strong, meant that I'd easily have the upper hand in an actual war. So take that and combine it with the fact that he's fighting Agartha, who I was already talking to a fair bit, and it was an easy decision. So now let's talk about things about the other side of things. Vanheim, Pelagia, Ulm. Vanheim was the number 2 nation in the game at the time, and he had shown an incredible gem income for their size, so they were in a very good position. However, I thought they were going to fight Ashdod. There were several reasons for this.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. So he was completely blindsided by the coalition against him.
Well, not completely. He knew the turn Vanheim was attacking, that they were attacking him this turn. But he didn't seem to expect it strategically in the lead-up, which would have been when he decided to attack Ind. He didn't expect it. There were a couple reasons for this. The first one was just that that's what I'd do if I were in his situation. Ashdod had intentionally cut Vanheim off from taking more of Jotunheim, and we're in the stage of the game where Vanheim just matches really well into Ashdod 1v1. Ashdod was criminally behind on research. That's true. And even if he were even in tech, Van Jarls can counterthug anything Ashdod uses in small quantities and attrition out their mages if they deathball with few losses on their side, allowing them to do what elves do best and have fights where they just bring a ton more gold and gems and win decisively. I started to figure out that he was going to fight me on turn 37 when I actually talked to him. See, when I'd initially talked to Ashdod, he expressed worry about being out too. But when I went to Vanheim to see what he was doing, he said either me or Ulm. And that was basically like saying you, since he clearly wasn't going to go for Ulm.
Okay. So that's the third message?
Yeah. Fourth message.
I need to read for you.
All right. By that point, though, I'd already pulled the trigger on Ind and figured that I'd see what he had and see what he wanted, and I'd figure it out from there. But I probably should have taken more precautions than I did, because I'll get more into the disastrous start of the war in its own section. Pelagia, I knew he ended our nap because we technically didn't have one. I knew he ended our nap, which we technically didn't have anymore, okay, because he went for that throne, or the lake. But he didn't actually want to fight me. He's just trying to mingle me to fight Vanheim.
Mingle me, okay.
I don't know what that is, but...
I've never heard that word before.
But it makes sense, I guess.
I guess.
Not much I can do about that, but also not much difference since I can just put on my snorkel and go fight him. So it's more... Oh, since I can't just put on my snorkel and go fight him. So it's more just active coast guarding required. Ohm, I actually didn't even think was going to fight me at all, since he hadn't even stormed Bandar Log yet. Yeah.
Neither did we.
And was fighting Vanarus, and not at all finished with that. Most players try to do one more at a time because our brains are wired that way. And while Ohm is absolutely capable of fighting on multiple fronts, our border is small and obviously doesn't have a natural fort on it. So if Ohm moves up into it, I'll see him coming, which on turn 39 I did. On turn 38, the eve of the invasion, I had moved my White Centaur stack that had been sitting in my capital for just such an occasion to the throne fort, which had a bunch of Meneids, unstealthily, explicitly to say, "Hey, look, I'm prepared for your attack to this throne."
So do you know which throne he means there? The one that Vanheim was threatening?
I think that's the one he means. This one.
Vanheim since took it.
Right, this one.
Right.
Okay, 4. I think we're on 5. However, I didn't actually have enough mage support with it. It was obvious, that in order to encourage him to poke it with the scout rather than to properly commit, the stack thus shown, I ordered it to move to 212 along with a bunch of wizards for actual support. This served. Let's make sure we're following in the right place.
217.
217, yeah.
Okay. So he backed it off from the throne.
Right.
And then what happened?
This serves several purposes. One is that my templed province, is that is a templed province, and thus annoying to be raided. Another was that Pelagia had a pile of troops in my lake, and I figured that one of the two was going to go for it, and it let me bring over mages from 240. The mages were well out of range of my throne, and I had figured out the display of bad dudes would be threatening enough to limit the extent of an initial attack, since what kind of elf would jump in blind like that?
But he did.
He did.
If I remember right.
Yeah, he did. Meanwhile, the end invasion started basically as planned. Insta-breached a palisade on 72. Oh, that's another thing End is doing. He's not upgrading his palisades, including the super important cave one, where he should be making sinos. Anyways, I breached it. I bounced the Harpy off 71, so I knew that he had no juice there, and I was ready to steamroll through. I ordered a storm with just a hit squad of White Centaur of weapons of sharpness, since he'd used his Bahamut before, but just the returning ritual active, while he'd used light mage thugs before. Wait. They die a magic weapon armor-piercing sacreds.
Right, okay.
I don't remember ever seeing him do weapons of sharpness, though, on his White Centaur.
No.
This meant I could send a stack of mundane dudes with some buffers up to 94 and my proper army to 71 with yet more mage support. So 94.
Okay, so...
Oh, right.
Pushing on end. Okay, and 71.
71, yeah, and he did move his big stack here while he led a small group of guys right inside. I don't remember them having weapons of sharpness, though.
I don't either, but you're a couple messages down, I think.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I had intentionally left some mages stealth when attacking 72, so they probably wouldn't be seeing weapons of sharpness coming, much less the rest of the nastiness. Turn 39, disaster. By magic phasing into 206, Vanheim blocked the movement of my troops, and my army and that throne stayed put.
This is why I think we didn't see the weapons of sharpness, because his armies got split.
Okay, well, let's see. So
interrupted. So that was 2-0.
He moved. Vanheim magic phased on top of this throne here, which is...
That's right.
Okay. This meant that... Okay.
Now, so he had his troops in one province and Magi in the other. Is what he's saying.
Okay.
That's what hurt.
Pelagia didn't do anything because, again, Arco didn't actually want to fight me. Just make Vanheim... just want to make me fight Vanheim and then Vulture. But Vanheim went in all okay, but Vanheim went all in right away. Still very much a manageable situation, but I'd be on the back foot since if I could sneak enough mages in, which they were a turn too slow to do, I'd still be outnumbered 2-1 in sacreds. Okay, so this is now referring back to his throne with Vanheim. And his cost more than mine. So instead, I had to sneak my white centaurs out, which required stacking my Holy 3 and a pile of Meneids, which required sacking my Holy 3. That was one of the white Minotaur he lost.
Yes, we saw that.
Well, war crimes and whatnot. Losing the hero sucks, but it sucks less than taking a fight against his fully decked army without proper mage support, and thus losing the hero and a large number of sacreds. And besides, I was a few turns away from Alt 7, which is a big thing for Pangaea, especially when fighting Vanheim, because Vanheim's not a fire nation. In the meantime, I could build a few more white centaur and a few ordinary centaur and try to make up the difference in numbers with better magic. At the same time, the magic phase attacks setup succeeded at its primary goal of cutting the retreat route of my bloodhunting provinces, which was a huge hit. 6 turns of cap recruitment and adept down, plus a turn's worth of slave income.
Yeah, we saw that the pandemoniac
right
got caught.
Yeah, and he did a great job cutting off retreat routes. So
yeah, he did.
Vanheim sent me an in-game message saying he was doing it because I was close to a throne win, which, well, fair. So I sent him a Discord message asking if he'd peace out if I ceded the throne to him. I had to do that anyways, since I needed to sneak the boys out, and I figured he might even let me retreat my Holy 3, but he didn't reply, so yeah, no joy.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ind was a mixed success. He did something clever with the Bahamut, and actually used regen and buffs on it to make it stand up fine in front of white centaurs. Sucks to lose a nice expensive sacreds like that, but his god itself is totally manageable with some moonblades. And meanwhile, the clashes that I had with my other forces were very promising. He moved additional troop support into bloodhunting provinces and just got smashed by even regular cataphract boys, I guess, with some buffs. So I wound up killing 8 mages, including 2 bitch mothers, which, due to his poor infrastructure choices, he had very limited supply. If Vanheim hadn't been moving so fast, I could have seriously seen myself just straight gutting End and then flanking Vanheim through former End territory.
Right.
Then I saw Ulm trying to do a sneaky in 193.
Can you pop out to 193?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
So when you use those items that reduce your apparent size of the army, they still tell you what the troop composition is if you don't have enough to hide it entirely. They also mess up the numbering if you use an odd number of the 25 items.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of a strange little...
What does that mean? If you use an odd number of the 25 items?
If you use 2, they work, but if you use 1 or 3, they do something funny. But I'm not sure what he means by the numbering. But anyways,
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like what he's saying.
Okay.
I've not heard of this before.
What are the 25 items? What does he mean?
They hide. They can hide up. They make it look 25 smaller.
Okay.
Let me look those things up. That's the effigy, I think.
So when I saw a stack of 5 black plate infantry guardians, and master smiths, I knew what that was. Okay, so basically he's saying when it's such a small stack and it shows so many different types of units in here, something was fishy.
Right. No, it's not the effigy. The effigy's a 50.
Okay.
So I guess he's talking about the air ones.
Yeah. So I said hey to Ulm, who I'd been on good terms with, and he'd basically confirmed the coalition and demanded provinces. Now, at that time, looking at where Vanheim was and where Ulm was, it looked like the only path Ulm had was going through 181 and then taking a stab at the Golden Throne on 190. Now, at that point, Now, at that point, seeing that I was facing a coalition of more than just my next closest rival and a devious water boy, I figured I had to figure out my next move. So then Ind messaged me and demanded the Golden Throne and the 2 provinces I'd taken off of Agartha and a few... Okay, so let's look at what this is. So Ind wants the Golden Throne, which is probably this one.
Yes.
And these provinces probably he had taken off of Agartha, I think. 171 and 185.
So Ind demanded them back.
Right. Well, and the throne was size outright for most of the game.
Interesting. I could see that wouldn't have... Yeah, that doesn't seem like that was going to fly.
Yeah.
To me. Okay.
And in a few minutes of conversation showed himself to be very challenging to negotiate with. This tracks with Agartha's experience of Ind demanding Agartha's cap.
He demanded Agartha's cap.
I demand your cap.
So then that's basically conceding the game.
Well, no, I think this was a joke.
Okay.
So Ind wasn't going to be a potential partner, which map situation-wise kind of sucks. But this is a little interesting. I don't know. It's always hard to know who's more level-headed in a negotiation, but Ind needs this peace with Pangaea more than Pangaea needs the peace with Ind, I think, because he desperately needs to finish off Agartha. Yeah,
and you said that, you made that point quite clearly last episode. I agree with you there.
But Pangaea also needs peace at this point in the game. You know,
well,
when
now
talking.
He does.
Well, no, but I think at the time when they were doing this negotiation, because this was, this was like turn 40, so like 3 turns ago, two or 3 turns ago.
Right.
Okay, so back to closer to home and what to do about the big threat. First, notch damage control. Don't lose anything major to Vanheim. Retain mages in research. Let Vanheim be threatening. At the same time, try to dissuade the coalition partners, by which I meant Ind and Ullman, of course.
Okay, yeah. So
that makes sense.
Punching at them. Yeah, he's counter-rating them. He's punching at them, saying, just demonstrating, hey, I still have power. No, I'm not done. So if you keep attacking me, you're going to pay.
Yeah. Okay, and we're at number X. I don't know. I can't count anymore. Since Ulm was very explicit after provinces, I figured I should focus on... Wait. I figured I should focus him with raiding, because from my perception, he had a very limited corridor to move in. He should be the easiest to handle. So I could see he was going up to 181 most likely. I plan to drop some dryads in there and wait a turn, and I'd see what his army was, and if he was seriously prepared, I could consider making concessions. If instead, as was the case, he forgot that Vape Nation has an outlet in Sweden and didn't prepare better for the killing sorts of thugs. For killing the sorts of thugs that had been hustling him in Bandar Log, then I figured I'd just smash his army, raid his provinces, and tell him to go away and focus on other wars.
Well, yes.
As for Ind, a similar story, except for him, his other war is singular, and had been focusing on it before I'd so rudely interrupted him. My plan was to leave my stack in the north, but near his cave, since I was still confident that I had beat him army versus army, decisively if his god wasn't there, and requiring moonblades and some casualties if it was. But still doable. If I wipe Ind out bad enough, Agartha lets loose, and I can either peace out or keep fighting him, whichever makes sense. Probably keep fighting, because again, it's an open flanking angle on Vanheim, and I need to kill Ind at some point anyways.
Okay, so he's kind of explaining similar things that he has in the previous messages,
right.
But this makes pretty good sense, and Agartha did break loose. Which...
Yeah, if he is committed to killing Ind, which is basically what he said, like I'm committed to killing Ind, I have to kill them at some point anyways, then he's completely messed up Ind's game. Because, Agartha's back out of the box now.
That's right.
But...
Okay.
I don't play that way at all. I mean, it's interesting because I'm not very good at throne rushing. I don't like doing it. I avoid it. In fact, I try not to have thrones a lot of times because I don't want to throne rush and I don't want people to accuse me of it.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
I mean, I want some, but I don't want too many. I'm just bad at throne rushing, but anyway.
Well, it's not an easy thing to do. Like I won 2 Disciples games after you had to leave last year. We did win that one with the throne rush, and then another one I'm recording right now, Blame Lair, and we also throne rushed. But it was tricky. It can go bad very, very easily.
Yeah. But the nice thing is if you're not committed to getting thrones to win, you can be much more flexible in your diplomacy. Like I would never say something Sai said here, which is like, I need End, I'm going to have to kill End sooner or later. Like, in basically none of my games will I ever say, I'm going to have to kill so-and-so sooner or later. I'll say all the time, like, oh yeah, maybe I should probably attack this person, or I should probably attack this person. But, I mean, that changes like the wind, like in the morning it's blowing this way, in the afternoon it's blowing this way, and whether I ever pull the trigger on any of it, it'll change. So.
Well, I guess it depends who you're saying it to. If you're saying it to yourself,
yeah.
Or if you're actually saying it in diplomacy to a potential ally or something, you're giving away somewhat more information that I like to give away.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to give away my long-term goals.
Yeah, I don't like doing that either, but that was mostly just to myself and to the YouTube audience.
Yeah, and the YouTube audience, that's always after the fact. I think you're on the next one.
I think we're on this one, yeah. So as for Vanheim himself, it's actually okay to lose provinces to him in this situation. If he seems to be snowballing ahead, this further paralyzes Pelagia, and it encourages a little sympathy from Ulm. Since Vanheim made the correct strategic decision to spawn on the opposite side of the map from the ocean, Pelagia would have a much harder time to do anything to stop Vanheim. We were talking about this a turn ago. Pelagia would have a much harder time stopping Vanheim than he would Pangaea. So if Vanheim seems to be just running me over, he'll need to organize coalition number 3 to get more patsies to fight Vanheim for him, which would work great for me, since if I avoid major losses, I can just retake lost territory once Vanheim has to run away. Turn 40 rolled, and Ulm accused me of throwing the game to spite him the way Uruk did. I was not doing this and told him as much, but I figured I could smash his army now that I had seen it. And, which, it's honestly very weird that Ulm invaded him. We didn't comment on this, but invaded him with the army he did. Oh, wait, did he have shamans?
Not many. He didn't have very many magi.
The only shamans I'm remembering seeing actually were in Ashdod's army. But Ulm had a shaman province, which could give him that nature access he would need for, Serpent's Blessing. So. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. But I figured I could smash his army now that I had seen it, and he'd have to take a white piece, since otherwise he'd just lose more. He disagreed, but I figured we'd wait another turn, see what happened. And didn't chase after me, disappointingly, because I did lose another very important white Minotaur to Vanheim, magic phasing onto the cave fort. Sucks, but survivable. And End was mostly counter-rating me pretty well. Dropping his god on not stealthy centaurs rather than trying to hit it with big stacks as I had expected him to. But he did lose some actual units to Meneids. Always funny when that happens. Overall game plan was still as above. Let Vanheim look big and scary, avoid big fights, have a friendly fight with Ulm, and tell him to leave me alone and knife End. Okay?
Okay. Next one.
Turn 41 opened my eyes about the nature of the coalition. See, to me, a coalition in a game like this is everyone agreeing player X is big and scary, and then everyone agreeing to stab him. You get some players that don't contribute as much to the group project, but it's basically just everyone fighting on their own, with some communication to avoid bumps and shared intel. Instead, they'd actually coordinated like a Disciples team. Vanheim dropped onto my raiders in Ulm, which I hadn't bothered stealthing before since I figured I was dealing with Ulmish responses, and Ulm moved his army formally to Vanheim territory. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they were coordinating a lot. So this is very bad.
And they told us that they were coordinating because we had the message from Vanheim saying, I'm going to deliberately cut off retreats by airdrops.
Right, but there was some tension in the coordination because Ulm was upset that Vanheim had blocked him out. And so that was kind of how,
But they seem to have worked it out.
Right. So this is very bad. If Vanheim cedes the Silver Throne to Ulm, that means Vanheim actually isn't a great threat to Throne Rush, and it keeps the balance of power much closer between them. This also means Pelagia can risk damaging me more, since I won't be needed as a partner in the fight, I guess presumably if Ulm's taking over that role. Further, since Vanheim presumably gets my capital, I cannot fight him, so the masterminding wins.
So he has to kill.
Right.
Yeah, he says, I actually do need to kill Vanheim's army. Oof, ouch.
Right. This means I actually do need to kill Vanheim's army. I need to do it decisively, and having 3 lifelong protection, 6 pans, and the majority of my sacreds up, an end isn't doing any favors for me. Oh, I thought he had pulled these back.
Well, that's what we had thought, but I guess he hadn't. Not by this turn 41.
Right.
So those are still hiding somewhere there in Inland. Ooh.
Ulm also still has his army in my territory, but it's also still not that scary. I can deal with it with spare dryads and whatnot. Fortunately, Pangaea units have a map move that is appropriately bullshit, and larger Pangaean units are even faster. So it's still a long walk home, but the penny can strut. So that brings us to now. It's turn 42. I'm officially not having a good time. My meme attack on Vanheim's cap bounced. What? Did we not watch that? God damn it.
That would be 42?
Okay, we're going to go back and look.
Yeah, well, I think we missed that.
Turn 42.
We should have a look at that. I think we did miss it.
Yeah, because we're not doing the list. It's easy to miss things that aren't near the battlefront.
So where's Pan's cap?
I think, okay.
Oh, we missed this.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, an all shield, not a vine shield.
And just PD, I think. How much?
Phantasmal Warriors, though. But yeah, this isn't going to work. You need regen.
Nope.
Or you need a vine shield.
Yeah, the awe shield just isn't enough. That did not work. He did say he should have had an E-gem, I guess for E-power. Oh, he's fatigued out.
Yeah, if he had had regen, I think he probably would have lived. They couldn't kill this, but yeah.
Reinvigoration.
Yeah.
But, oh, wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. Well, like you said, it was a meme move.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed that. We didn't see that.
Okay.
43. So that was message third from the bottom. Oh, one more.
Oh, needed an E-gem and earth power.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Yeah, okay. Maybe.
That would
yeah.
help.
Okay. He might have needed regen too. But, okay. And Vanheim is casually leaving 80 gems out to intercept raiders.
So, geared Van Jarls.
Yeah, okay.
Mildly geared Van Jarls, but a bunch of them.
He has double my gem income overall, and a lot of it's already out on the field. Even with my tech advantage, the war is going to be awful. But there's the rub. I still have my tech advantage. I'm getting set up for a big battle on Pangaea, even though it's basically the opposite of what I advise people doing in general in Dominions. Shedding provinces so that you can deathball is a losing proposition, since every turn the other guy has provinces is still a turn that he gets income and gems from it. And Vanheim's raiding game and magic phase game in particular is top-notch. That said, if I smash him and destroy his army here, he's also he never mentioned the fact he's lost so many White Centaur to the flying attack rear dudes. But
yeah, the little tidbits. No, he hasn't mentioned that, and that was a lot. Like you said, you think as many as 80.
Yeah, well, some of the 80 was losing to end, but about half of it, I think, was losing it to Vanheim fly attack rear.
Yeah, well, we saw 16 in one and 15 in another, and that adds up.
That said, if I smash him and destroy his army there, I can starburst out from my cap and use mixed stacks of mages sacreds again, since I'll have juice enough to just outspend him temporarily and bringing both hardy troops and wizards scripted to handle thugs.
Okay. Well,
and we have one more message. With Vanheim still topping the charts, now vulnerable due to being mauled, there's a maybe chance of getting the coalition to stop being so tight. But since End wasn't punishing me at all for devoting the absolute minimum amount of attention to him and Agartha is surging, and since Satis is about to attack Ulm, I might be able to claw my way back out to original borders without making peace with my invaders. Or I might just die horribly. I believe we call that consideration being flexible.
Okay. Well, so did this big fight happen yet?
I think he's stalling for it, but we'll find out shortly. So yeah, he's got to do the fight now, but he's just pinging this. He's going to see what it is. And let's take a brief moment to appreciate what we have here. We've already looked at that. We have the Death Camazot. We've got this guy with some earth gems, so this actually could be weapons of sharpness even, but probably not. But this guy could do 2 weapons of sharpness casts. Another guy with 2 gems. Again, it could be weapons of sharpness. It could also maybe be like a Marble Warriors or something.
Could be.
Another guy with 2 earth gems. So a lot of these guys have 2 earth gems. I want to see what he's doing it because I'm not totally sure. The other obvious thing for these guys is Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants. The dubious anti-magic caster. A lifelong protection Van Jarl or Vanadrot with a bunch of air gems and some death and some nature.
Well, the death and nature, I think, are just he's holding that guy. But I'm guessing Fog Warriors, some air elementals, some flying counter thugs.
Yeah.
Guessing elemental. Wonder if he's going to storm. No, because then he can't fly to the rear.
Gate Cleaver. That's spicy. Great Sword of Sharpness, some more air gems. Another great Gate Cleaver.
Definitely looking like he's got a lot of air elementals scripted. And he might storm and then not bother flying his Van Jarls. Just use them to cast air elementals.
I mean, this is scary. This is so scary. Having Storm Up and then Thunderstrike and like 15 air elementals while you have all these guys running at you is very, very frightening.
And what does he have there for a nature mage? He brought some nature gems. He's got the single lion tribe.
There's nobody really. Or was there a lion tribe? Oh, this guy. Oh, but part of a communion.
Aha. Okay.
Well, we don't know much about Vanheim's tech. We know he went evocation, but we don't know if he went alteration or if he went enchantment.
Yeah, all we've seen is relatively low-level buff spells, flying, mist form, that kind of thing. We haven't seen, that I remember, a major battle with him.
Right.
Oh
my gosh.
Some more dead white centaurs. Chopped up by Vanniers. The Ginsu knives.
Yeah. They're not... Oh, man. And the thing is, they go berserk, and once they go berserk, they don't care about getting repelled, right? So you lose the repel part of the larger... I mean, they didn't even kill one Einhair. I honestly can't even believe that.
Yeah.
I have to watch it again. How do you not kill one Einhair?
I don't think those white centaurs even got a chance to attack. I mean, I know they did, but that's how it looked. So they take the PD.
Oh my gosh, and they just instantly died. They got blessed too.
Yeah. They're just chopping right through it.
Oh my gosh.
Good grief.
Oh my gosh.
And another flying Van Jarl.
Well.
Whoa. So I'm backtracked a bit. You can see that. Dryads.
So Pangaea attacks here in the magic phase. He had a Dryad hidden, and then he did Arouse Hunger, and I guess the Dryad is going to support these guys with... it's got a lifelong protection.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of cool. It's a way to get rid of the PD in the magic phase, and then all moves back. kills this without too much.
Yeah, that's solid. A few ghouls.
Yeah, okay. Kills the ghouls and the Dryad runs.
Okay. Over here. Iron Order. Okay.
Oh boy.
What did that Iron Order guy do?
Oh, do you remember where? Oh, this. Okay, it's a Golden Order.
Golden Order, sorry. That's the fire and astral, right?
Yeah.
Fire. Astral.
Some fire elementals.
Okay. Well, that's effective.
Yeah, they do pretty good against them. So.
They do.
And then he raids up here with 2 Van Jarls and here with 2 Van Jarls.
Oh. And he punched the Pelagians back.
So he's got lifelong protection.
That's what catches him, I bet.
Yeah. Iron Skin. What is this Earth Gem for, I wonder? Oh, I bet it's for Iron Warriors.
Yeah, or
yep, there it is. The Iron Word, the water elemental.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's good spacing.
Yeah, but the magic leadership's about to die.
Yeah, swarming him, so that didn't... That lifelong is what made this one for...
Well, yeah, and the swarm, but yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is a scary water element. But you can see it just disappeared when the magic leadership went, so... That was cool.
It was.
Sweatiness on both sides a bit.
Yeah. So we're kind of... This is definitely looking at what Pangaea is doing this turn.
Florida Undivided has returned.
Florida Undivided?
Yeah.
Oh. Who's this? Oh.
That's Uruk's.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just so funny to me. I don't know why.
He's just calling it back again.
Yeah.
Because he's got nothing much else to do.
Yeah, what else are you going to do?
Okay. Well, that kind of covers Uruk. And we've covered Pan, mostly. You're just looking over a few other tidbits. You see any more indications of more successful seductions? I didn't see any more Elmish.
Yeah, it's hard to know. We could maybe try to count how many commanders are here, but the numbers have definitely gone down some. I don't know how much.
Well, we saw 2. Now they must have moved somewhere because they're not in that fight.
But yeah, I don't see any signs of smiths or anything. Pangaea raiding over here. Deep raiding I just generally don't approve of, especially on top of forts.
Well, those are white centers, right? They're not the cheap centers. That's kind of pricey.
He needs these guys, I think. I think he needs these guys in his cap. I don't know. Sai seems... He galaxy brained a lot of this, but it doesn't seem like it's working. He's getting picked apart.
Not quite. He's being a little bit outplayed by Vanheim for sure. Let me remind myself who's Vanheim again.
Yeah, it's Kris Lighthawk.
Oh, that's Kris, right? Yeah.
Okay, we had a message too from Vanheim. We should read it. So the whole strategy with using magic phase attacks to prevent seductions is working fine. So far. So taking the throne was easy. I even killed another white Minotaur doing so. He can't have many of those left.
Yeah, we heard about that. Thanks to Arco for that strategy.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually super annoying not being able to seduce if there's actually a counter to this, which is if you put flying boots on your dryads, they can seduce anywhere, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, because then they can fly back farther.
Yep. Okay. At least I've been told this. I haven't tested it, so I have to be careful about spreading misinformation. But I have been told that it was true by somebody who loves doing that sort of thing.
I also was in a discussion and I didn't get a chance to confirm it. But I think if you try to seduce in the water by giving a dryad or something water breathing, I think that screws up because normally you can't retreat from water to land.
Yeah.
That screws up. So I'm not sure that, if you're trying to seduce a single water province and your land province is your adjacent, if it works. But seduction is it's a weird thing, and I don't use it very much.
Yeah. Now, if I can take his cap, I think he is finished. I moved as much as I could on it, but it wasn't quite enough to one turn pop it. but is sure to be breached next turn unless he casts Iron Walls. There is, to be sure, a fair deal inside, and he can stealth in more. So I think we'll have a big battle soon. I'm researching Wailing Winds. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
And have moved a caster in who can cast it. With a little help from a Sabbath Communion, it'll take me 2 turns to research, so I may delay storming the fort 1 turn. Or I may just pull the gamble and he will cast it by himself. He won't do it with my mod on. If he's set up for it. He's currently stealth, so Pan doesn't know he's coming. Problem with this is the turn he cracks the fort, Pangaea is almost certainly going to ride out. There's no way Pangaea would ever take a fort inside the fort walls.
No, I think he has to. Pan's going to have to break out.
What that means, though, is it means he's going to fight Vanheim before Wailing Winds comes out.
Mm. Well, that's good for Pan.
Yeah.
It's fun to fight against Pan.
Yeah, it's fun to fight against Pan instead of playing them myself and knowing Pan so well. I know what will work and what won't. That's true. It's there's a lot of nations, once you play them well and like have played them a fair number of times, you're much better at fighting them because you know what terrifies them.
Yeah. And being like, I tend to play the same nations a lot. Oh, sorry about that. I tend to play the same nations a lot instead of spreading all my play amongst many, many nations. So sometimes I'm a little behind the 8 ball on nations I haven't looked at closely.
Right.
There's definitely a strategic advantage to having at least tried the nation you're going to fight against. But the other option is, and I've done that when it really matters, like in the tournament, I've set up test games against my obvious opponents and practiced. I use that a lot against Therados because Formoria versus Therados was a good matchup, but a difficult matchup.
Right. It's even more fun to do with Vanheim since Helheim was my main enemy last game while I was playing Pan, so with a similar blessed to size. Okay. So let's take a look at score graphs real quick. I want to look at the army graph in particular and see what it's been looking like for Pan. Okay, yeah, Pan has gotten just his teeth kicked in on the army graph. And Vanheim hasn't lost anything. Vanheim's just been steadily increasing in power. And typically Vanheim's will have very low unit graphs. So the fact that he's even up here in the middle of the pack is significant.
I don't usually see Vanheim run that kind of 80, 85 Einheers.
Yeah. Einheers is so good, though.
They spend all their money on Vans. It's hard. The other thing on this army graph is that the Pan graph is still pumped up by Maenads, which are of minimal use in this situation.
And a ton of his losses have been White Centaur. So
that's correct. Who was the other huge army? I saw. Is that Ashdod?
Ashdod. Yeah.
Wow.
But they got no research, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, guys, next turn, do not miss next episode. All right. Next episode is going to be the big fight for Pangaea.
Turn 44. It's going to be a big one.
Maryland and I will finally get our wish. We're at almost 50 minutes. So
okay.
Let's come up here and look at the end front. Nothing happening on the southern border. Agartha actually won this. Oh, yeah. It looks like some Legions of Steel Strength of Giants on... Yeah.
Oh, on some of the human infantry. Okay, that's solid. And some Iron Warriors from... Who's Adolf?
It's this guy, I'm sure.
Okay.
So some raiding.
Okay. But some counter raiding.
Yeah. And moving a Doom stack out. So this is what End has to come try to kill Agartha.
Well, my gut feel is these are pretty even. But Int has shown some pretty darn good scripting. And if Agartha continues to leave Magma Kids to burn his Magite to death, he's not going to have a great game. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, well, that's fairly low cost. Is that
Yeah.
Hierophant?
I mean, still, these guys are like 35 gold, I think.
Yeah. It's just relative, but just not enough of them. Oh, and they caught it. Oh, the imps caught it. Blocked it from running away.
I think, I hesitate to say this, but I think Sai has been caught disrespecting players. Like, Isitaris did the same thing when he was playing Jotunheim. He was like, this doesn't feel like the finals. You know, and he was just like, I wonder when I'm going to need to start moving mages around with my army.
Well,
And
especially some of the relative unknown players that have demonstrated a skill.
Yeah.
Like, say, Toolbox, who, you know, prior to the tournament it was one of his first games he'd ever played.
Yeah.
He had won one, but I'm trying to think who else here is not particularly well known.
J-PAP on End, I don't think is super well known. But
no, or Coconut was not really known until this game.
Yeah. I knew him, but yeah.
Yeah, but so a lot of these guys I'd never heard of. You know, I've been familiar with Stonetroll and Nicknight and Kris and stuff for quite a long time, so I would never have considered anything less than dangerous play from them.
Right.
But I was talking about, we've also talked a little bit about the players' own morale, and I think a couple of players have gotten tired, just tired, and so they're not playing as well as you would expect.
Could be. I mean, I'm not sure who's tired. I mean, I think everybody, like, Ulm is trying hard. Okay, well, Vanarus, I don't know what's going on there. Satis, I think they tried, but they've kind of been put in a box, and they have to find a way out.
The couple of players that feel to me like they might have gotten exhausted or just not feeling like putting in the extra effort were Nicknight, Uruk, and then Agartha's play for a while seemed very stagnant. Now he's picking it up, but there was definitely a time where he, you know, I think when he thought he was going to die, and then he got a revival of his oomph when Pan sort of helped him out, and maybe just as we've learned reading Pan's messages, Pan talked to Agartha quite a lot, so probably said, "Hey, I'll give you a hand." Yeah,
that could be it.
That's always a motivational boost to feel like you're not all by yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, this war between Agartha and Ind is about to come to a climax, I think, as this army presumably is going to march on top of the cap, and presumably Ind is going to send the Bahamut to make sure that, you know, he doesn't.
If it's patrolling, gem bait it.
Right.
And if it's not patrolling, make it an easy move.
Right.
Okay, I agree with you. The fact that Pan, and I think Ind can kind of tell that Pan's had to pull back.
Yeah.
So this is good for Ind.
Yeah. Okay, we have Ulm raiding into what was Bandar Log, and Bandar Log chills out and says, "No,
I'm going to stay there.
I'm going to stay there," and he does a bunch of skeleton spamming and.
Skeleton spamming is interesting. Good move. Yeah. Good move.
Yeah,
totally mix up your script. Just flip your script right around.
Well, I think it was a similar script actually. He had left a bunch of his guys on. All mixing things up. He's got this guy who apparently won an arena, which I don't remember.
Oh, those arena boots. Oh, okay.
But he's got quickness now. He's got a Skeltata Volturnus. He's got a lightning spear. So I think they must have been casting lightning.
But it's and there's the Yaksha.
Yeah, susceptible to shock.
Oh, ouch, 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 ouch. All right. Well, good call on Ulm's, because it's about time that he sort of took this problem of Bandar seriously and finished it.
Right.
Now, if he can magic phase on that Sita, with his god or something.
Did he get? Okay, he also got Iron Will on him too. So.
Honey strong. Oh, and it's paralyzed.
That's
sleeping.
It.
And then it's gone.
Oh no, the Great Yaksha.
Yeah. Okay, so Bandar is down to
his god.
I wonder if he thought to bring a couple of pearls along with his god. Can you see? just so he could get it home if he has
Yeah.
to.
Let's take a look. He did.
Yes. Okay. So he's got the chance now to
Return inside.
returning and get inside. But I mean, that hero is going to kill the Sita as well.
Yeah. I mean, he also could like really roll the dice and try to magic duel the shaman. So that'd be funny.
Yeah.
But I think, is he Astral 4 or 5? I can't remember. I think he's 5.
5, I think.
Yeah, he's 5. So it's pretty safe to magic duel a shaman, but you could still lose it. So okay, the Bandar rebellion lives on, but it has been weakened.
Badly weakened. Yeah, because that's probably his last gems.
Right.
Well, he's getting a few nature and an earth, I think, per turn, and that's it. So he's got a couple of options left.
So here we've got a battle between Ulm and Vanarus.
Oh.
And
okay. So Vanarus is a little stronger.
So he's got Arafin now, which means he's enchantment 6 at least. Maybe this is what he wanted. Now there's no arrows over here, so the Arafin isn't going to do much.
But a big earth. Oh, that earth elemental didn't last.
Ooh, earth meld.
This is close.
But these are his sacreds, right? So these are Oathbound, which have his full bless. They have Twist Fate too. And Twist Fate combined... I don't remember him having Twist Fate the whole time. Maybe it was an imprisoned Twist Fate or something. I can't remember.
Twist Fate is imprisoned. Or it's
incarnate, yeah, but maybe his god was imprisoned. I'm not sure. But he has it now. And that's pretty good with high defense and with glamour. So... And he's this Veidun back here, who I think is his prophet, has done a sleep cloud on a lot of the Ulmites. So...
and there goes the Master Smith, so that's it.
That was not just a win, that was a stomp, I think. Yeah.
It was a pretty good stomp. Yeah, 2 Master Smiths killed.
Yeah.
And cheaply. But here comes the Doom Stack.
And here comes the Doom Stack. We don't get to see what's in it, but we'll see soon enough.
To meet the other Doom Stack, although like we said, there might be some effigies or something going on.
Yeah. And it's also worth noting, Vanheim is... We can see they're building up some troops here. They've got Einheirs here. They've got some Einheirs here too. So while they have a huge amount committed on Pangaea, they don't appear to be very naked on the back end anymore. I think there was a period where when they had started this war maybe with Pangaea or right before it, they were maybe a little bit vulnerable on the flank.
Yes.
In terms of like maybe you would have had to still deal with their research mages, but there weren't a ton of troops there. I think that the troop situation at least has certainly been started to be remedied. He's got some pretty significant forces here. And this makes sense because if he kills if Vanheim kills Pangaea, he's going to have a huge target on his back. So he's going to need these.
Right. Well, he's also size analysis was quite interesting. That he thinks that Vanheim has not been stockpiling gems at all. He's taking his gems and making sure they're working out in the field.
Right.
So that's a significant thing.
I don't think we had noted this before, and I don't know if it's popped up, but because we haven't really been looking at the spells, but Ulm has Earthblood Depot. I don't think I noticed that before.
Oh, okay. Nice. I don't remember God going up.
Yeah.
I remember Mother Oak's been up forever, of course. And but those extra Earth gems for Ulm, those are useful.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he gets much in the way of any national summon spells. I don't.
He gets the Iron Angel, but I think mostly Ulm turns Earth gems into hammers, and then hammers into 1-gem items.
Yeah.
No,
according to Mod Inspector without mods, all he's got is Sloth the Bears.
Yeah.
So, that's quite cost effective, but it's just bears.
Right.
So nothing too wonderful there.
Okay. So we've covered, I think, all the Ulmish stuff. We've covered Vanheim. We've covered Pangaea and all of its facets and nooks and crannies. We covered this with Pelagia. Otherwise, Pelagia seems to be chilling out.
Yeah, I'm going to mark Pelagia as done. So Pan, Uruk, Agartha, Ind, Ulm, Vanarus, Ashdod. That's about the only thing I have left.
Yeah.
Ashdod and Xibalba.
Jotun is keeping this army
Jotun.
here. I don't understand what... I think... this I'd be interested to know. Jotun, if you're watching this, or Pelagia, did you guys discuss peace here? Because to me, this fort is water under the bridge for Jotunheim. Jotunheim's not going to be able to take it back. This is the most favorable border he could get, and this war doesn't make sense for him. So he needs to go do something else, like Vulture, Xibalba, or something. But
right, or Ashdod,
or Ashdod, or Isitaris, or Vanarus, anything. But
anything.
But this doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No. I agree with you there.
Okay, we've covered it. There's no action here.
There's nothing to see. All we can do is sort of estimate.
Right.
Did somebody ping that throne?
Yeah, Jotunheim pinged this throne. Interesting. It's the throne of water, which is a nice throne. It's one of my favorite thrones. You get +3 defense on your bless, and you get 3 water gems and a water 3 mage. I mean, what more can you ask for from a throne? That's pretty good.
Yeah, and for anybody that wants to engage Pelagia in the water, that would be a very useful throw.
Would be, because I think, do these guys have gift of water breathing? Oh, they don't.
They don't. But at least you can make Sea King's goblets.
Right. Okay, coming now to Ashdod and Xibalba. Pelagia has a scout here. Vanheim has a scout here.
Scouts. Oh, somebody's pillaging.
Oh, wait,
I can
whoops.
see the flaming torch. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, I guess when you're doing deep raiding where you can't trace income, you might as well pillage.
I guess. It's, well...
I meant that as like a joke, kind of.
Yeah, the payoff isn't very good, but he might just be doing that to keep the unrest through the roof. And has he got no way to get that little army whole?
An adept of the Iron Order jumps in here.
Oh. And
Mind Burn. Returning. I think this might have been scripted to do Magic Duel, and there was no Astral Mage here. I think that what that was. Right. Yeah.
It's an expensive mage to Magic Duel with, but...
Well, he's going for his god, I think. Or the third son. I think this is where they were, and they magic phased out. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of want to see how he's kitted this add-on, because this is one of the first add-on super combatants we've seen in a while. So he finally got an Astral Random. He'd been complaining he hadn't found any.
I remember that. That's a pretty inexpensive kit.
Do all add-ons get 3 miscellaneous slots? I don't remember that, but that's awesome. I guess they do.
Know. Just let me look. Let me look. Yes, they do. All add-ons get 3 miscellaneous slots.
That's awesome.
I did not realize that. Yeah, that's significant. That opens up a lot of options for thugs and SDs. So that one's a bargain add-on thug.
Yeah, super budget.
Like a Stinger. Yeah, Stinger's cheap. Wonder if he's buying those from Ulm. I bet you Ulm's selling to everybody.
He probably is, yeah.
Although Ulm's fighting half the nations in the game, so he doesn't have that many customers. He's not fighting half, but he's fighting 3.
Right, but they're not really... he's not fighting a lot of real estate, let's put it that way.
No.
Except for Pangaea, but...
So again, no big... So these guys are just kind of just staring at each other.
This is a pretty big army, too. I'm surprised he didn't pop it yet. Because, these giants siege for a lot. It's only 250 wall strength. It must be pretty close. And this army didn't move this turn. It patrolled out. I guess he was thinking maybe there's some assassins here or something.
Speaking of forts at siege, we didn't check to see the walls on Pangaea's capital.
They're cracked. They're cracked. For sure.
They are cracked.
Yeah. That's why we know next turn it's going to be... This is the big turn.
And did he get the white centaurs back in time?
We'll find out. We
will. Okay.
But yeah, the other surprising thing about this is I was expecting to see this stack move here.
Me too.
To defend, because I don't know what he's going to use to defend this province.
He seems to be conceding it now.
Yeah.
unless there's something amazing inside.
Right. And this is a pretty important province to give up. I mean, because now Ashdod would have a foothold right next to your capital.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay.
We will see.
So that Ashdod and Xibalba pretty much covered. I think that's everybody.
I think that's everybody too. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. And,
Very much so.
And yeah, thank you especially, Maryland.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll tune back in next time. Big fight in Pangaea, guaranteed.
Exactly. Much excitement for next turn.
Yep. I'm gonna file a civil claim against these guys if they don't have a cool fight next turn.
Hopefully we can play it, or we can do it tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Bye, guys.